When you only need around 50 marks across 3 papers to snag a grade 4, nailing just a few multi-step 4-mark problem-solving questions can give you a huge boost. And if you're aiming to take your maths beyond GCSE, then real-world problem-solving is what it's all about. Stick around to learn how to tackle these questions, and you'll find that the maths hidden inside them is much more straightforward than you might think. There are marks up for grabs, so don't miss out. Hello everyone, welcome back to GIL Learning. In this video, I'm going to help you break down some mental barriers you may have inadvertently built up around maths to show you how to answer those problem-solving questions that examiners love to include on GCSE papers. Whether you just want enough proficiency for a pass, or you're aiming for mastery and top grades, developing clarity of thought when faced with multi-step problems is key. Now, I have no doubt that everyone can pass GCSE Maths. When it comes to multi-step questions, I've been teaching students my reliable 3-step method for years. Logical thinking can be developed with guidance and practice, and the chaos on the page can be banished for good. Why these questions matter more now. The current GCSE Maths framework was agreed in 2015, with the first exams being sat in summer 2017. One of the big changes made back then was a shift towards assessment objectives with a greater emphasis on mathematical problem solving. That's why multi-step questions are plentiful in today's exam papers. I mean those 4, 5, even 6-marker questions without any Part A and Part B breakdown already done for you. At GIL Learning, we often see students score 0 on these questions, not because the maths is beyond them per se, but because it's wrapped up inside a worded problem that they can't unpick. The forest for the trees problem. There are many problem-solving strategies out there. Draw a diagram, look for a pattern, work backwards, make a table, guess and check, compare before and after, even formulate an equation. So many, in fact, that students get overwhelmed and can't see the wood for the trees. And if you've lost sight of the forest, well, you can no longer pick your path through it. But we are, as a human species, biological problem-solving machines, so there is a way through. Could we take inspiration from other subjects that we study at school, perhaps? Our 3-point method for writing a plan. Your English and humanities teachers say, write a plan, and so do we. As the saying goes, fail to plan, plan to fail. Your plan, and students are often delighted to hear this, is not about number crunching. Your plan should just be in words, often only a dozen of them at that. It's a sequence of steps to get you from what you know, that is, the information from the question, to what you need to know, as in the answer. Let me reiterate this crucial point. The plan is not about numbers. It shouldn't include any numerical calculations. We have a 3-step method for how to write the perfect plan, which will turn any problem-solving question into an exam marks buffet. Let's look at 2 real exam-style examples together now. Example 1. Choosing a mobile phone plan. Jazz buys a £10 monthly plan with 6 GB of data. Her brother Zane uses pay-as-you-go at 2p per megabyte. In 1 month, they both use 5.5 GB. Who spends less and by how much? So, how would our 3-step method help in this example? Well, step 1 is to treat the problems on your maths papers as if they were real. Relate them to your own life. You all have mobile phones, indeed you've probably had to choose between data plans at some point too. So just put yourself in Jazz and Zane's shoes. So suddenly this question is about you and your bestie, which is a lot more relatable, right? Step 2. Next, highlight what you know and what you need to know. For this particular question, that would probably be these bits highlighted on screen. You can think of them as inputs and outputs, or givens and goals. Step 3. Break down the problem into a sequence of smaller steps. This is the plan that we've been building towards. Don't just hold the plan in your head, write it down. Here's an added bonus. Seeing your plan will also instill confidence in whoever marks your exam paper. After all, exam markers are only human. What might our plan look like for this question? Well, perhaps 1. Convert gigabytes into megabytes to match the pay-as-you-go rate. 2. Work out how much Zane pays by multiplying his megabytes by the 2p rate. 3. Compare with Jazz's £10 plan. And last but not least, 4. Calculate the difference in cost. That's it, plan written. You now have your very own Part A, B, C and D, and you're ready to dive into the number crunching. We'll save the actual maths for another day, but suffice to say, Zane's costs are insane. Example 2. Saving for a phone. Now that she's picked a mobile plan, Jazz wants to buy a £460 phone. She's already saved £175. She has a part-time job and earns £6.80 per hour. She works for 8 hours each weekend. How many full weekends will it take her to save enough money to buy the phone? Now, you'd really want to know when you'd be able to get that phone, right? So once again, put yourself in Jazz's shoes. Let's highlight the key information. And now we can write our plan. 1. Work out how much more money Jazz needs to save. 2. Calculate how much she earns in one weekend. 3. Divide the amount needed by her weekly earnings. And 4. Round up to a whole weekend. No fractions welcome here. A great plan, and look, not a number in sight. At least not yet. Master these everyday examples and you can tackle maths heavier questions the same way. With practice, our 3-step problem-solving method will gradually become second nature. Understand the problem and think real world, identify the inputs you're working with, write a plan, and then execute it. Sometimes you might not know all the maths you need to execute your plan, but with our method you'll always be able to attempt questions, or parts of questions, that use maths that you do know. Those marks are no longer locked away and inaccessible. Good planning skills are going to shove the grade swingometer over that grade 4 boundary, because for a pass on the higher tier papers, well, you typically only need at most 1 in 4 and some years as little as 1 in 5 of the marks. For more on that, check out this video here. How does this fit with the bigger picture? Our problem-solving course drops next month. Paired with the skills developed in our Fractions Deep Dive Preparing for Algebra course, it's enough to secure 95% of the marks needed for a grade 4, simply because we understand fractions, know that you can only add together like terms, can multiply terms in brackets, and we can break problems down into neat sequential steps, as we've seen in this video. And check out this video on the right to discover how to shake off your academic shackles.